Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Elevate Program Fall 2024 Town Hall. We'll get started in about a minute. I'm going to let people filter in to the webinar. We had a lot of folks in the waiting room. Looks like it is 10 o'clock on the dot, so I just have a few housekeeping items to share with you all before we get started. My name is Karen Diesso. I am the communications person for the Elevate program. I will be speaking with Jack later on some questions and answers, but just before we jump in, I wanted to let everyone know that captions are available during this session. So if you need captions, you can click the Show Captions icon at the bottom of the Zoom screen. We're also going to be recording this session, so we will post that on the Elevate website and also send an email to all registrants with that link. And during this session, we have the Q&A feature enabled. So if you ask questions in the Q&A, our team will do our best to either address your question via chat in the session or via the Q&A feature in the session live with Jack or after the session. So appreciate you all joining us today. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Jack Blanchard, who'll be our presenter for today. He's the Associate Provost for Enterprise Resource Planning. Take it away, Jack.
Thanks so much, Karen. And good morning, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. The countdown is on. As you can see, 44 days until we go live on November 15th. And I'll be talking this morning about the Elevate program and providing an overview and update. We also have a video message from Provost King Rice. I'll talk about the cutover period or other deadlines that happen before that November 15th go live. An important topic is training, and I'll give you an overview of how people are accessing their training, and then what to expect when we go live, and finally, support that is going to be provided. So in terms of an overview for the Elevate program, I want to acknowledge that we have hundreds of people who signed up for the town hall meeting that we're doing. And since the last time we did the town hall, I know we have new employees, new student workers, new faculty, who despite prior presentations, they maybe are new to the campus and new to understanding why we're doing this. So I'm just going to start off with a brief overview. For those of you who are familiar with this, sit back and relax. But I want to start off with asking the question, what problem are we trying to fix? Why are we doing this? And this really has to do with our enterprise resource planning system, that figure that you see on the right. Our ERP is basically the computing systems that allow the university to do its work. And you can think of this as a three-legged stool. We have human resources. So when you log into PHR and you approve a time record, or financial system, if you're using Quality Finance, and it's collecting information on budgets and charges that are coming in on particular accounts. And then that last bit is our student information system. And the student system, if you're logging in to look at your courses and to register for courses, to get your transcript, that's all our student information system. So all of this involves computing systems that allow us to do these different aspects of our important work at the university. Our ERP systems are obsolete, and they can no longer meet the complex needs of a flagship research university. So back in 2019, we formally started the process of selecting a new system. The problem with our current systems is that they are outdated and we cannot improve them or enhance them, and they become increasingly challenging to maintain. So focus on that student system. That is based on a mainframe system that is using a programming language called COBOL. That's from the Eisenhower era. That is a system that's so old, our current undergraduates in computer sciences don't even learn COBOL. So people who support the COBOL system are retiring. It's harder and harder to just get the knowledge and expertise to support that. Think of any software, any technical system that you use, are any of them decades old? And the answer is no. We constantly refresh them, and that's what we're going to be doing in our systems. When I talk about the Elevate program, I want to point out that this involves multiple campuses, multiple institutions. There's the University of Maryland College Park. There's the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, the University of Maryland Center for Environmental Science, and the University of Maryland System Main Office. We all are using the same finance systems and the same HR or human capital management systems. So we will make this transition together to the new system. And I want to welcome all of you from the other campuses and groups who are attending today. So what are we moving to? The new system is called Workday. Workday is a cloud-based integrated platform. So instead of logging into multiple systems like Quali or PHR to do different kinds of work, we will log into a single system. This has a number of benefits. One, there's simplified training because now we just have to learn one system and not multiple. There's dynamic reporting, real-time data, so that we can look at what's happening. And this is across our systems and integrating our systems. Workday is updated continually, twice annually are the major updates. So it is always evolving, always improving, just like your phone system. You wake up one day and it says that a software update has been installed, or your computer system, it's been updated. That's what we're going to benefit from. There are lots of other benefits, including what you see there is there will be a mobile app so that you can access the system on the go. This is used at hundreds of institutions and increasingly at higher education institutions. And that was part of our selection process back in 2019 and 2020, where we picked Workday given its benefits. So the goals of the Elevate program are listed here. We wanted to ensure a positive user experience. We wanted to make the university more efficient and effective, and to be able to more accurately collect, report, and analyze data. We wanted to ensure the security of those data and privacy. And we wanted systems that were reliable and could be easily maintained and updated. All of these goals will be achieved with Workday. So, as I noted, we are going live with human capital management and finance on November 15th, 2024. All the institutions I referred to will make that transition on the same day, and we will leave behind PHR and Quali Finance, and we will be using Workday for our business as we move forward. And I want to play a video message from Provost King Rice.
Hello, I'm Jennifer King Rice, Senior Vice President and Provost at the University of Maryland College Park. Thank you for taking the time to attend this town hall session on the Elevate program. As you know, in just a few weeks, Elevate will launch Workday, which will replace our outdated human resources and finance administrative systems with a modern cloud-based system. This is an important milestone not only for the University of Maryland College Park, but for our institutional partners at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, the University of Maryland Center for Environmental Science, and the University System of Maryland office. On behalf of my co-sponsors of the Elevate program, I want to take the time to thank those members of our staff who have dedicated countless hours preparing for this effort. With Go Live just around the corner, now is the time to ensure that you are ready for this historic transformation. I encourage you to use these next few weeks to complete your Workday training and familiarize yourself with the resources available on the Elevate website, elevate.umd.edu. During the transition period, campus leadership and I want to remind all of our staff and faculty that change is never easy. With your continued help, the transition to Workday will be impactful and highly beneficial, allowing our campus to embrace a new way to modernize administrative work. I am certain that we will take on this new opportunity as a community because we are better when we work together. Thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend this town hall session. Hello.
So with that, we're going to talk about how we were preparing to go live, to go on to Workday. And a key part of this, of course, is training. And training is being provided with on-demand courses. As I'll show you, you can log in and register for these computer-based courses and take them at your convenience, 24/7, all remotely. And these courses allow individuals to learn key topics that are relevant to their roles, their jobs. And these include some recordings demonstrating how these systems work and encouraging users to try it, if you will, with some simulations. The courses that you take will depend on what it is that you do and what will you do in Workday based on the kind of work that you do today. And the way that you will be able to know what training to take. We've been sending out emails, but you don't need to look for the email or wait for an email. You can simply go to elevate.umd.edu, and there's a section on resources and training. And if you click on that, you'll see that red box to the left. What training should I take? And if you click on that link, you will get this prompt, and you will put in your UID and your email address, and you will receive an email that summarizes what training you should be taking, and it will summarize what training you've completed. So this will be the way for you to understand the recommended training in Workday and what you'll need to prepare for. In terms of enrolling in those courses, so that email will tell you what courses to take. You'll then go to the elevate.umd.edu website, and in training, there's that link that you see to the left, on-demand courses, and you can scroll through those courses and find the ones that are relevant to you. And you will, on the left, on the Elevate website, you'll find the course that is recommended. You'll click the link, it'll take you to Open Learning, and you will enroll in the course, like Introduction to Workday, and then it will take you to Elms Canvas, where you can watch the video and interact with that to take your course that's relevant. Now, in addition to the training that's being provided, there are other resources at elevate.umd.edu, and these are intended to complement the training. We know that the video training, the computer-based training is helpful, but it's not enough. And so over the last year, we've been developing other resources based on user feedback of what would be helpful. And so the first one that you see on the upper left are job aids. These are simple, clear instructions how to do a particular task. So if you take your course and you're still looking for some guidance, you can go to those job aids. There are over 300 PDFs that you can find on the website relevant to particular topics, and then simply follow step-by-step instructions on that job aid. So this is intended to complement your training and to help walk you through in a very concrete way how to do particular tasks. There are other resources. I'll just touch on a few of these. The one on the lower left, business process workflows. Again, this was based on user feedback from last year. We were told that people really wanted to better understand in a detailed way what was involved in certain processes. So they might have initiated something, but where does it go next? Who's approving a particular task? So we created these business process workflows for those folks who want a deeper understanding of the processes within Workday, where you can see next steps and you can see your role and how that process ends up. As I'll note, there are learning hubs on the website on the upper right. These are organized information on training content. So you can go to those learning hubs that are relevant in terms of what you need help with. And then that has links to all kinds of support material, whether it's workflows or job aids that you can click through. And the last piece we have there are what we call crosswalks. So it's information about what something might have been called in our legacy systems in Quali or PHR, and then what is that going to be in Workday? And we're trying to build a bridge between what people did previously, what was a report called, and what is it going to be in Workday. So all of those sources are on elevate.umd.edu. I know I keep repeating this, but it's for a purpose. We're all familiar with sometimes the struggle of finding information that we need related to the university, wherever we're at. And we also find ourselves then just doing a Google search, which is not very efficient. We put everything at elevate.umd.edu so people did not have to kind of hunt and peck on their own. And if you go through that website, you'll find those Workday resources, those job aids that will prompt you through step-by-step instructions. That's where the training is. That's where there's a list of frequently asked questions. So please visit this. That's your source of information to help support you in this transition. So in addition to the material I just shared, I want to point out that we've had these project implementation teams, PIT crews, that have been working with us for many months. Over the last year and a half, at least, we've had over 400 members from across our institutions who are representing divisions, colleges, institutes, centers, departments, and they have spent thousands of hours providing critical input in configuring Workday, but also learning about Workday and bringing that knowledge back to their home units. The other thing that we've been doing with key staff is that managers and staff who have more roles in human capital management or HR or in finance, they've been given early access to what we call a sandbox. This is a practice Workday environment where over 4,000 users now can log into that environment and take what they've learned with the training, with the job aids, with the other resources, and practice activities, including within their department, within their college, collaborating with their coworkers. These folks, again, have spent thousands of hours within this sandbox. And that's a way for us to get key users that have more responsibilities in HCM and finance, accustomed to this and ready to collaborate with their coworkers and support their coworkers when we go live. So I've been talking about November 15th, and there are other deadlines to be aware of that I want to touch on that occur before that go live deadline. And this is all part of what we call a cutover period. And let me just explain that. So we have our legacy systems, PHR and Quali, where we have our data and we're doing our work day to day. Then we have our Workday system. On November 15th, we want everyone to be able to log into Workday and see their data and start their work seamlessly with accurate data from our old systems. How do we do that? Well, we have to capture our data in these other systems, these older systems. We're freezing those data, so to speak, because now we have to transform them and put them into Workday. So to allow all of those data to be captured, saved, transformed, and put into Workday, we have a period of time where we start shutting certain processes down so we can convert those data and get them into Workday for November 15th. So there are deadlines that are starting this month, October, and will continue through before go live that are relevant for people to be aware of. All of these dates are available at elevate.umd.edu. Emails have been going out starting back in August about these dates and alerting people to be aware of them. But if you go to elevate.umd.edu, you can see all of this information. This is in the section called Drive to Go Live. You're just looking for last day activities, and you can scroll through, find the relevant systems and the dates that are relevant. So what do I mean by dates? Why are they important? Well, if you're doing procurement, if you're doing travel, there are certain dates where you have to finish particular processes before go live. If you're doing new hiring and have a new posting in eTERP, again, there's a date that is involved in that. So all of these systems will be impacted. And what that means is that things that we normally do this time of year, we need to be aware of these dates because we may need to pull forward some of those activities and do them earlier before these deadlines, or understand that we have to push off some of these activities till after go live. We had a technical problem there. Did we drop out, Karen?
We did briefly, but we have you back.
Okay, so
Super quick. If you want to just pull up the presentation again, I think we can continue.
right. Was I talking about the crossover, cutover, and
Yeah,
deadline
you were
dates?
talking about deadlines. Apologies, everyone. We are here,
Yes.
both here
This
in
is
the
what
management
happens when you're
building.
doing something live and technical. So, but like with Elevate, like with our transition to Workday, we will be adaptive and we will solve problems as we go along. So here we are. My point that I was making is last day activities are available on the website, and you can see these dates and prepare for what's happening next. And what I want to acknowledge is just like we experienced. This is going to be challenging. President Pines here at the University of Maryland College Park has noted that this is a historic multi-institutional effort to completely transform and modernize our HR and finance systems simultaneously. We've never done this before. We are prepared to do it. We can do it. Other universities have done it, but as Provost King-Rice noted, this will be hard. And it creates burdens. It creates burdens on our staff and faculty, our student workers, as they devote time to training how to use the new system before November 15th, and then adjusting to that new system. It is an investment, and that investment will pay off long-term with having a better, more reliable, modern system to use. So in the meantime, we need to be compassionate and understanding with one another and support one another in this transition. As Provost King-Rice noted, we are better when we do things together. There will be bumps in the road. We are prepared and we have the resources available to address any technical difficulties. We've learned from our peer institutions who have gone on to Workday, and we are ready to make this work and looking forward to it. So when we are going live, and before I go live, I just want to have a brief acknowledgement of the support that will be ongoing up to go live and after go live. My major point here is that there are multiple layers of support, and we'll be putting more information about support, more details about support, how to access that support on the Elevate website. But what you see here on the left is that multi-layered approach. Our local support, our project implementation teams from your colleges, your division, your centers, your campus, they have been immersed in Workday. They have been training in Workday. They are accruing that knowledge to be able to help support their local units. We are creating a new network of what we're calling Workday Champions. These are people who have, again, because of their training and experience, developed expertise with Workday, and we're developing a network where people will be able to identify who they can reach out to for additional support. Finally, we have business owners. So this is our HR office, finance, procurement, where they have been getting additional training, additional support, so that they're there to answer questions from users when it rises to that level. And then finally, we have what we call Workday Enterprise Services. This is a team that's prepared to address any technical issues that come up and ensure that our systems are working as intended. In terms of next steps, I've been focusing on what's coming up appropriately, but I just want to put this in a broader context. And I've been focusing on that red work stream, human capital management and finance on the upper left. Again, we started implementing this in January of 2021, and here we are coming up on November 15th. And so that's very exciting. But there are other things that are going on as well. And some of these are less relevant for some folks in the audience. We have a tool that's called adaptive planning. That's for our folks who are responsible for budgeting. This will go live in December, and it will be used in the spring by departments as they work up their budgets for the fiscal year coming up. And then that bottom work stream is a very important one. I talked about the student system. I talked about how it's based on COBOL and it's problematic. We have started what we called a readiness phase for student back in 2023, looking at our systems, trying to understand our systems, looking at our policies, procedures, engaging with all of our folks in the registrar's office, for example, et cetera, working out all the kind of foundational understanding that we need, and then preparing for working on this implementation in January of 2025. And right now we're staffing up for that project. So we're finishing one marathon for finance and HCM, and we're getting ready to start our next marathon with that student system that will start to go live in summer of 2027 with some functionality, and then that will roll through the fall of 2028 and replace all of our student systems by that time. So I think we're here on the question and answer session, and I think, Karen, you have some questions, and do you want me to drop out of sharing here?
Yes, you can. We have over 600 folks here with us today. We've had questions coming in through the Q&A feature. Our team has been answering them behind the scenes, but I pulled a couple for us to answer on live today. So first question is, how confident is the team that you'll be able to go live on November 15th?
Right. Good question. 100% confident. We are doing this. President Pines has indicated that we're doing this. In the last year, we've learned a lot. We had issues in the fall of 2023, August of 2023 that we identified. Those have been resolved. There's been multiple layers of testing to ensure that those issues are fixed. Saying all that, we know, as I mentioned before, going live with these kinds of systems can entail unanticipated consequences. We stand ready to address those. There may be bumps in the road. That's okay. We are going to go live. So no one should put off their training thinking, well, maybe this is not going to happen. It will happen. Please be prepared. And we will get through November 15th together.
Awesome. Thanks, Jack. Next question. Are training courses restricted to only certain types of people or staff members? So I think this person is asking if they wanted to take a course that's not on their curriculum or things that they're recommended to take. Is that okay?
Yes, that's okay. They're not restricted. We're providing information on courses that are recommended based on our knowledge of what roles users have, what jobs they do. But if someone was interested in learning more about another topic, or they anticipated moving into a new position and they want to start learning how to do those new responsibilities, you can enroll in other courses and you can take other courses. There's no restriction.
Awesome. Next question. What does the average employee need to know or be trained on? Employees who maybe don't have a specific role.
Right. So the training, as I noted, will vary across individuals. At the one end, if you are a faculty member and you have no grants, no administrative duties, you will take a single course, Introduction to Workday. Similarly, if you're a student worker or a staff member and you don't have broad responsibilities touching on the HCM system or finance, you just need to log in to do, update your personal information. Again, that single Workday course, Introduction to Workday, will be sufficient. Others who have other roles, we've been sending out emails about what are the recommended courses based on those multiple roles that you might have. And you'll have more courses as you have more responsibilities. So quite a range. And again, those emails requesting your training will give that information to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Jack. The next question, let me see here. I think this is a good one. Who's tracking who completes trainings?
Right. So we've developed a tool. It's a dashboard for supervisors and campus leadership to use. And that dashboard allows a supervisor visibility into their team so they can see their workers, the people who are on their team, and they can see what courses they've been assigned, and they can see the progress that they're making in terms of the courses that have been completed. This is just to allow everyone to be aware of the progress of training and encourages folks to support one another so that all of us can be successful in finishing our training on time so that we're ready for November 15th.
Awesome. After doing my training, where do I go if I still have questions?
So there are different ways of answering that. One is to the elevate.umd.edu website. As I said, there are job aids there. There are process workflows. So depending on the question that you have, if your question is, I'd like to see the steps involved, I'd like to have a hard copy prompt for me to do something, job aids. If you have questions about, okay, I understand the process, but I don't know where I fit in overall and who's next and how does this get finalized, those workflows are going to be relevant. If you still have questions, we are scheduling opportunities for people to come in with questions in various Zoom sessions, and information will be posted. We'll be sending out email announcements about the schedule of those opportunities, but that will be another way to get the information that you need. Did I miss anything there, Karen?
No, I think the only other thing is, will those sessions that you mentioned, will they continue after go live?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, cool. Great.
So more
Yeah,
information coming, and you can monitor the Elevate website, and we'll be posting and keeping that updated about these kinds of sessions.
perfect. Yeah, and my team is working on planning a lot of those sessions as well. So to Jack's point, check the website. There will be a lot of both general and targeted sessions and ways to get on a Zoom session and learn more. Next question. Is the Workday mobile app available to use now?
It's not. It'll be available to use when we go live. So I think you might be able to download it, but it's not going to engage you in anything. But once we go live, that mobile app will become available and active where you can log into your accounts from your phone.
Perfect. Next question was, and we had a couple of questions about this. Will we be able to maintain or elect our health benefits within our Workday system? And we got other questions about whether or not
Right.
yes.
So this
will
has to do with the fact that with the state of Maryland, they have a state personnel system where we all go in, those of us who have benefits, to choose our benefits every year. That is a Workday tenant that they have. It's a Workday online system that we're logging into. That is separate from our Workday that we're going to have here for PHR and for HR and for finance. So that is a separate system, separate login, doing separate things with the state. And it's not going to be related to the Workday that we use for our jobs. But it's easy to get confused because they both say Workday, but
Yeah, I think our team will do our best to differentiate that moving forward so that we can minimize confusion, because I know it's a question we get a lot, and I actually do get emails in the Elevate inbox about SPS, and I do my best to direct people where to go, but it's a good thing to mention. Next question is, does Workday have an applicant tracking system, like a database to store resumes, search resumes, and reporting?
That's a detailed question. I think I have an answer. The answer is yes. Workday does include an applicant tracking system. So the access to that module is based on the security role that you have within Workday, and that should have been given to you based on the roles that you have, the job that you have now.
Yes, correct. Do students need to take any training courses for Workday?
Only those who are GAs, graduate assistants, or student workers. You go into the system for, it touches on your payroll and your personal information. So those individuals will take that introduction to Workday course. If you're not a student worker, if you're not a GA, there won't be any courses that you have to take. We will start doing the student information system this next year. And as that progresses, that will ultimately engage all of our students. We're not there yet. So only those groups that I mentioned will need to take that introduction to Workday course.
Perfect. The next question is a good one. It came in a couple different forms. Who will need to submit a timesheet in Workday? And I also saw someone say that they had taken an intro training that showed how to document absences and not timesheets. So Jack, do you want to speak to who is actually going to be submitting timesheets in Workday?
Right. So it's going to change when we move to Workday, and exempt staff and faculty will not have a timesheet in Workday. They will submit absence requests. I think that's what you're referring to, Karen. And workers who submit a timesheet in Workday will include hourly employees, student workers, C1 employees, and non-exempt staff employees, including C2s.
Perfect. Thanks, Jack. I think this is the last question I had taken notes on before we went into this Q&A, and then I'll just take a peek at the session questions to see if there's any questions that our team has answered in the meantime. But what will happen to our current systems after Workday goes live? So KFS, PHR, ETR.
Right. So for most of us, our experience will be that they no longer are accessible and that we're not doing anything in them. For most of us, we will transition to November 15th, doing our work, accessing our systems all through Workday. Saying that, the legacy systems will go into read-only mode. We will wind those systems down. We will have the data in those systems that we can preserve as we need to. And there's some things that we have to wrap up within those systems. But for the vast majority of us, they will no longer be accessible and they will no longer be relevant to us. But we will begin winding those down. And as I said, we'll kind of be in this read-only mode.
Awesome. Thanks, Jack. A few questions that I just saw come in that I wanted to draw attention to. The first one is a good question from Sandra about how are hourly student workers being informed about the timesheet change to Workday and just about Workday in general. Thanks, Carson, for getting in here. Hourly students, as well as anyone who's going to be using Workday, especially to record their time, they'll receive emails about the transition to Workday, and managers and supervisors will remind them to have conversations with the hourly students they manage to ensure everyone's aware. So yes, people will be receiving communications. Our team is working on a number of comms and sessions to make sure that those audiences are fully prepared. So that is in the works. I saw another question about how someone asked, are we not supposed to download job aids because they'll be continuously updated after go live? Now, this is a very smart question. Ideally, no. Ideally, you should, when people are grabbing job aids, they should be grabbing the most updated job aid. And the reason for that is that Workday is updated twice a year. So our team is going to be making updates to our job aids continuously. All of our job aids have the date of last update on the PDF. I know that a lot of people like paper. I think it's fine if you want to print it out and note on it and write on it, but just remember to go and look and make sure that there are no changes that have been made to these job aids, because we will be updating them. It's something that our team is responsible for. And I think those are the main questions that came in. There are a lot of questions I know that have come in the meantime towards the end of this session. So we have those all on record, I want to say, and we will be collecting those so that we can provide answers to all of the questions that everyone has asked. But I also know that we are getting to 10:40 and we are going to end at 10:45 today. So I appreciate everyone's time for attending this session. I want to go ahead and share our thank you for attending. We appreciate you all for coming. And again, we will follow up with everyone who submitted a question. And you can stay connected with Elevate or visit elevate.umd.edu for more information. We had over 600 people join us today, so I really appreciate everyone for joining us, and we will go ahead and follow up with you via email probably sometime next week. So thanks everyone, and thank you, Jack, for hosting today.
My pleasure, and thank you everyone for attending. And I hope you have a good day. Take good care.
Bye.